Alrighty, so I was working on an iceberg video for the TF2 game modes, basically every single one, including community ones. And I thought, hey, maybe I could make another tier list video about, well, just the Valve ones, because otherwise we'd be here all day. That's for the iceberg specifically. But yeah, I decided to just restrict to Valve game modes. So yeah, I'll be going over my thoughts on the game modes and sub modes as well. Actually, see here, I got some sub modes here. I got them over here on my second monitor. So, but yeah, I'm also going to be making making this public here, so you can kind of create your own. I've seen a few of them out there before, but they just didn't include everything that I wanted to include, or they kind of had things a bit weird. Like they had only 5 CP, and it's like, well, what about 3? I just, put them in 1. But anyways, let's, I guess, start off. I'm going to be picking, not in order here, just in order of, my script. So we're going to go with Arena first, actually. Pretty forgotten game mode, obviously. And, it is pretty fun. Again, I love things that are fun. The problem with Arena is the respawn, right? You have to wait through a full round just to respawn, which, I mean, if you're into that, I guess, right? I'd say another thing is, like, medics can be a bit overpowered, and they are anyways in the game, as they should be, but here it's even more so because you only get 1 life. Yeah, if you're like me and you die immediately, you'll put it in to B tier, which is where I'm putting Arena. I'm going to do Koth next, or King of the Hill. Yeah, it's pretty easy to understand this. It's obviously a fun game mode. Lots of great maps as well. Very fast-paced. Matches go pretty fast. And, there is technically, I guess, a time limit. So it's not like you're going to be sitting here for hours like some other of these game modes that I have on here. Maybe the only downside's like Engineer sucks to play against. Like if you're on, say you're on Harvest, and there's like 3 mini-century engineers, that sucks. And perhaps maybe, there's only 1 objective. It's not like you have to go to 3 different points or whatever, which can be a positive or negative depending on how you look at it. I'm going to put it in A. I think it deserves a good spot there. MVM next. Where is MVM? Oh, I got it here. So, it's definitely one of my most played modes. I do love MVM. I like the sort of go on autopilot a lot of times, especially if you played a mission a lot. Now, that also makes it not the greatest, because it's the same thing every time, especially if you're just playing Valve stuff, but I mean, that's what most people do. And, it can get boring after a while if you're playing the same thing over and over and over again. I get that. Yeah, the only, big downside of this is, the player base kind of sucks. It's really bad. It's it's worse than a 2010 COD lobby. A lot of times it really is. Even though I do like the repetitiveness of it, personally at least. Again, this is my tier list, so these are personal opinions. I'm going to put Man vs. Machine up in A. Probably below King of the Hill, though, yeah. Robot Destruction. I love Asteroid as a map. I think I put it in S tier or A tier on my last list. But the game mode sucks. It really does. It's basically CTF light, and I haven't done CTF yet, but I'll talk more about why CTF is probably not the best. Of course, it's a scrapped game mode and map. Yeah, it's unfinished, kind of little unpolished. Doesn't really promote a good teamwork or objective, so I'm going to put that in C. I guess I'll do Player Destruction. So, Player Destruction, man, it's so close to a true deathmatch, but it's just not quite there. I really wish it was a true deathmatch. I think even though TF2 is a team-based game and whatnot, it should have deathmatch for the people who want to do deathmatch. Otherwise, you get everyone just going to 2 for it. I'll say, too, it might be a little confusing at first with the way it's ran. You have to grab their tag and you have to bring it back and all that. But I'll put it in B because it does try, at least, above Arena as well. Let's do next, Training Mode. Yeah, Training Mode, I know. It's the first F, man. It sucks really, really bad. There's nothing really good about Training Mode. It sucks when it came out. It sucks now. It doesn't really help you much. incredibly outdated. I don't know what else to say about training mode. I'll introduce our first sub-mode though, which is offline practice. You know, if you want to practice against bots, you can turn them up pretty hard, and they actually are pretty hard, kind of unfair even, if you want to do that. When I first downloaded this game too, I basically played this for probably a week and then didn't touch the game for a month. So this was my first experience really in the game. Probably in C though, because you're just going to be better off training with actual players. Like, you don't need a practice offline. Like, it's there, but yeah. That's the first sub mode. Let's do special delivery next. So it's basically like robot destruction in that you're gonna be the objective's kind of secondary, and it is kind of like a deathmatch. It is only one flag, and sometimes people do the objective. Certainly a fun map, and I do like the Halloween version of it. I think everyone does. That's for another sub mode, but we're gonna put that in C, mainly because there are some issues like the sight lines. And let's go and do snowplow. I did put snowplow as its own mode because it does have some specific stuff. Yeah, not a lot of people play this anymore. I don't think anybody really does. Maybe in Smith Holiday stuff people might play it, but yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, it isn't just like an attack defend or a CP or a control point map. It's that plus you have to defend a train, plus it can die, plus it moves through the map. Like, there's a lot of moving parts in the map, but really I'd rather just be playing attack defend or control point at this point. You know, maybe it was too confusing for new players because no one plays it. I will put it in B still though. I do think it's better than these three, but at the bottom of it. Let's go with versus Saxton Hale next. So I was never a fan of this, unfortunately. I know you're gonna might get a lot of hate for that. Well, I will get a lot of hate for that. I just don't know the appeal of it. It's like Arena, except you have to fight one guy instead. Okay, I guess, but still, you're really waiting forever to respawn, and again, you're only fighting one person, so the matches go on even longer than Arena. Sorry, but it's going in C for me. I'll put it right there. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to do Carrier next. It's basically, I don't think a lot of people even know about this map. It's a single map, but you're basically, one guy on your team gets to be really huge, I guess, and he delivers the flag to Cap or something, and he's really slow. I played it a few times when it came out. It's a Christmas map too. The thing is though, you get to respawn. Still, it is a little boring if you're not the carrier, and to be honest, it is boring if you are the carrier, so below snowplow. I think that's a good spot for it. We'll do medieval mode next, which is one of my personal favorites. I think most people are probably put this in like B or C. Definitely not for me. It's their first S tier. I like the simplistic gameplay of it. You're just smacking people with your sword. The weapon restriction is a fun part to me, not a downside. I really do come back to this map a lot, even though it's simplistic, but that's a good thing. We'll do manpower next. So manpower is kind of unique. Well, it is unique. It's not just kind of unique. It's a bit of a fresh way of playing. But it just feels too kind of chaotic and messy. Almost like a Halloween map, right? It just feels too chaotic and messy, I guess. Not polished enough. Feels like a mini game rather than a full-fledged game mode. Just a bit too complicated and doesn't feel like TF2 at all. So put that, at least, above Saxton Hale. I really don't like Saxton Hale. In the same vein, we got Pastime, which probably the exact same thoughts, except I've played it even less, so we're gonna put it under there. Creative and fresh, but like no one plays it, and wouldn't you want to just play Upward instead? Let's go with Payload. Yeah, Payload's one of the best game modes in the game. It has a bunch of great maps, very, for the most part, balanced. Easy to understand too, you just push the cart. Maybe the only negative is like the cart itself. It's a tiny little area, and it makes choke points even worse, but you know, it just depends on the map too, right? Still though, I'll put Payload up in A. Not as high as S, but very, very good. Attack Defend, let's go with you. Really do like this. Of course, the teamwork is huge in this. In fact, it's completely necessary. Like, you cannot win without it. Cannot win without a good push. Yeah, forces coordination, and it's very, very balanced. Maybe it's easier to defend but it just depends on the map too. Very great game mode. It's up in S tier for me. So Tug of War, this is just one map. It's a Halloween map, which, you know, there's spells and stuff, so you might be feeling one way or the other on that one. Really, I do wish the area of the Tug of War was a little larger. I do wish it wasn't just a Halloween map and there was a good, just basic version of it without all the extra Halloween stuff. But it's not terrible. It's just a different way to play as a Halloween map. And if you look at it as a Halloween map, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world either. I'm gonna put that at the bottom of B. Let's go with Zombie Infection. I've never played this once. You're gonna have to tell me how good it is or not, or what it's like. Yeah, I've no clue. I'm just gonna chuck it in B and call it good. I don't know where it actually goes. Right, I'm gonna do Payload Race next. Payload Race is not good at all. It's basically CTF, except the annoying objectives are replaced with, yeah, it really needs like timers or something to get people to actually do the objectives and not just screw around the whole time. That goes in F. Speaking of CTF, yeah, most popular game mode, and it's not because of the capture the flag part, it's because it's essentially everybody's deathmatch or screw around session. Even when you cap, it's looked down upon. You sometimes even get kicked for that. And, you know, some later maps, like, say, Landfall or even, you know, Double Cross, tried to rectify just the problems with Capture the Flag, but it really just didn't work out in the end. If the game mode was called Screw Around Deathmatch and sometimes some annoying person caps, it would be S tier, I guess, but as it stands, yeah, it is F tier. I'm going to put Training actually worse than Payload Race. So Territory Control, basically just Hydro. It's kind of grown on me, though. I used to hate this map because the matches went on forever, and I have played some modern matches on it. It's basically like a control point map, except it goes on for longer, and it's a lot more extensive. You know, control point as a game mode is very balanced anyways, so maybe if Hydro was a control point map instead, we'd look at it a bit better, but the game mode itself still. One positive, though, is it is timed, so it just doesn't go on forever like CTF or whatever. Yeah, it's not perfect, I think. Put it at the bottom of A tier. I do like it, and it has grown on me. So Domination, it's kind of a alternative to control points, I suppose. It's a little more fast-paced, but I think the teams sort of get split up a little too much in this. I haven't played much of it. Maybe if there's an argument to give it a second chance, I would. But yeah, for now, though, I'll throw it at the top. Or put it right here above Manpower. And then Control Point. This is, without a doubt, the best in the game. There's a reason why competitive plays this. There's a reason why everybody likes to play this. It's just really good. Like 3 CP or 5 CP are both great. It's kind of like a one-size-fits-all TF2 gameplay. There's really not anything I can think of negative about this. Lots of teamwork required, lots of strategies you can use on different maps. Like there's not any problems I can really see. Lastly, we got Whatville, which is hell. Alrighty, let's do our sub-modes. These are going to be a bit shorter because they're not full modes, but there's a lot of them here, as you can see. And I did include some funny stuff, but yeah. So we already did Offline Practice, Casual Mode. I really am not a fan of Casual Mode when it was made. I preferred the server browser, which I'll get to in a bit. But of course the server browser nowadays is dead. So, but yeah, it goes in F. Competitive, this is Valve specific, not the actual stuff, and again, I make a distinction here. This is also really bad. It's probably even worse than casual because no one plays it. Contracts, again, I don't like these. You know, I'll put it above good old Whatville, and maybe these two too. Just Whatville's that bad. Yeah, never liked contracts. So the dueling minigame, man, there's a lot of Fs. This is not a good sub-mode at all, because whenever you use this, you're usually on a full server with people, and it's very rare to just go to a random server and find one other person and have a proper duel. So it's great that it exists, but most people use it on an actual server, and it just sucks because of that. Halloween events, I like these a lot. They're meant as this like silly little fun game mode, and that's how I feel about it, and it does accomplish that very well. Sudden Death, another great game mode. or sub mode, I suppose. Really fun, can determine a much longer match, all in a sudden death, so it's pretty high stakes. But VR, not supported, but when it was great, I guess. I never used it. Coach mode, yeah. Again, I'm not going to put it in F because maybe someone got coaching from it. Of course, it doesn't really exist nowadays, does it? Yeah, community competitive. Now, this is great too. I'm going to probably put it up in... You know what? I'll put it in A because it's not my personal favorite. I'm not a competitive player, so... Replay. Oh, this one's funny. Used to be supported on a lot of servers. There still is some servers out there that do support replay. If I ever had another server, I'd certainly support it as well. But pretty much abandoned ever since Valve took it off the Saxies, and Saxies don't exist anyways. But it was certainly a fun thing, and you got some good clips out of it, so put it up in A. The server browser. So I don't really know where to put this because nowadays it's kind of been replaced by casual, and I don't know if it's as useful anymore because there's a lot of crap and spam and like fake ping type servers out there. But I think still though it deserves an A. Put it above community competitive there. And then spectate mode. Yeah, I know. If you want to, you can go to the server browser and go to spectate mode and just spectate. B, I guess. Maybe if you're trying to find like a hacker or something, it's good. Yeah, that's my sub modes, and maybe I should put these on their own tier list separate from here, but put them here anyways just to have a little bit of fun. So as a little bonus here, I've also added a 2-axis like of the game modes based on how fun or painful they are and how hot garbage and clean they are, and that axis is supposed to be like how well polished the mode is, how well it plays, how balanced it is, that sort of thing. So basically everything I talked about from the tier list section applies here. So yeah, here's that. And I also have one for the sub modes. So yeah, here's the one for the sub modes as well. So yeah, there's my list. See if you agree with that or not. And again, I'll have this up on the Tier Maker website so you can create your own. So